Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SQL Edge, where we simplify SQL Server for beginners and professionals. In today's video, we will explore DDL commands, that's the data definition language, the SQL commands used to define and modify the structure of your database. Right, you will say like we have already covered the DDL commands in the previous video session. Then what's new? Here is the twist, guys. Instead of writing code, we will perform these commands. We will perform this all the DDL commands graphically in the SSMS, and also we will see the T-SQL script that the SQL Server generates behind the scene. Right? So we already know what is the DDL command. DDL stands for data definition language. We already seen all those commands under this DDL like create, alter, drop and truncate, right? So to create is used to create the objects, alter is used to modify the existing objects, drop is used to delete this object, and truncate is used to remove the data from the table. Instead of removing the structure, it will just remove the data from the table and it will keep the structure same, right? So these all commands we have already covered in the previous video session, right? So let's now see how we can perform this using graphically. We have already seen the different queries we have written for this, all the create, alter, drop and truncate. We have seen what is the syntax for each of them. Today we are going to see this in a graphical method. So let me open the SQL Server Management Studio. To use the commands graphically, we need to open the SQL Server Management Studio. Right, so similar to how we are writing the queries in the SSMS, we can perform the same actions like creating the table, creating the database, or modifying the table to add the column, to remove the column, or to change the data type. We can use this SSMS as a source, right? We can use the drop command as well within a SSMS without writing any queries, right? So let's see. I have opened my SQL Server Management Studio. Let me connect to the specific server. Now I have connected to the server. First, we will see how we will write the query to create a new database. We already know the syntax for creating a database, create database, and we have to give the name of the database. For example, let's say I'm going to create a database called StudentDB. Right, so this is how I will write a command to create a database. So instead of writing the queries, let's say I want to create this database StudentDB using the graphical method. Whether we can do that? Yes, definitely we can do this. How to do that? So to create a database using the SSMS, using the Object Explorer, we call this as an Object Explorer, right? So to create any new database, what you need to do is you need to see, currently we don't have any database with a name as a StudentDB. So let me create this database using graphical method. How to do that? You have to right click on the databases icon, databases folder. All right, so let's right click. You will see the option to create a new database. All right, so click on the create new database. Now it will open a window and it will ask you to give the name to your database, right? So this is asking me to give the name of the database. So I can give the name here, student DB. Right, and we know it has created we have given the name to the database as a StudentDB. And if you see below, here are some options we are having. There is some log file will be created for the each database, and it is having some location. So each database will be stored in two file formats. One is a MDF and one is a LDF, like master data file and log data file, right? So we will have these two different types of file that is stored into the specific path here. So let me just click on OK to create the database. Once I click OK, the new database will be created under this SQL Server. Now you can see the StudentDB database is already created here, right? So this is how you can create a new database using graphical method. So this is the query method. This is the graphical method to create any new database, right? So now we have created a new database graphically. How to create a new table, right? To create a table graphically, we have to first jump to the particular database. So in which database you want to create a table? Let's say I want to create a table under the newly created database called student ID. right? So under the student ID, we will have the folder called tables, and currently there are no tables created under it because we have just now created this database here. So to create a new table, what I can do using graphically, similar to the how we have created the database, you have to right click on the tables to create a new table. So right click on the tables, click on new, and what you have to create, you have to create a table. So click on tables. It will open a window where it will ask you to give the column names, right? So it is having three options: name of the column, data type, and whether it will allow the null or not, right? So it is very similar how we are giving the how we are writing the syntax for creating any table. So let me just see. I have to create the table with three columns. So I will give the name, student ID, and I want this data type as an integer data, right? So it is an ID, so I can create this as an integer format. Second column I want to create is student name, right? So I will give the name, student name, and now this column I wanted to have as a variable characters, right? Like it is having the alphabetical values in the name, so I can select this column as a varchar 50, right? 50 characters are enough, so I'm choosing this varchar 50. Then third column I want to create is a city, so in which city the students are residing. Any columns you can have, right? So I'm going to create a table with just three columns, and it is allowing nulls in the sense we can have the values as a null. That means if there is no value provided, it can store the null values as well, right? So this is the table we are going to create, but as of now it is not created. It is just having the structure. To create the table, what we need to do is you need to right click here and click on save table, where you need to right click on the query window. This yellow portion you need to right click, right click and click on save table 1. So once you click on save table 1, it will ask you to give the name to the table, right? So I want to create a table and I want to give the name as a student master. Okay, so this is having the student information, so I want to give this name to the table as a student master. All right, we know any column, any table should not have the spaces in between two keywords, right? So student and master, two words I'm having, but still I'm not going to give any space here because that is not allowed in the SQL Server. That is not a good practice. Actually, it can be allowed with some extra care, but that is not a good practice. So I'm not giving any spaces between the two words. Even here also we can see student name, I don't have any space mentioned. Here also student ID, I don't have any space, right? So I have given the name of the table. Click OK. It will create a new table. Now still we don't see any table here. Refresh it and you will see the new table student master is created here, right? We can expand the table to see what are the columns we are having. So we have the columns called student ID, student name, and city. So we can see there are three columns under the table. Now you can simply close this, right? So this is the graphical method. Let's see if you have to create the same table using query method, how you will write the query for this. Create table. You have to give the name to the table, student master, right? Open bracket, close bracket, and within the bracket you will have the names of the column along with the data type. So student ID integer, then second column student name, which is a varchar 50, right, which is used for variable characters, and last one column we are having a city. Again, this is also varchar 50, right? So this is the create table syntax using the query method, but we have created the table using SSMS using the graphical method. Right. So now let's move to the next command. We have seen the create command to create new table, new database. Let's see how to use the alter command, right? So let's say you have to alter the table student master using graphical method to add a new column, right? Let's say you have to add one more column called age, right? So currently we have this table student master, right? So in this table you need to modify the table and you need to add one more column. So how to modify that? You have to go to the particular database. Under the tables you have to find the table, right? Which table you have to modify, you want to modify, right? And right click on that table name. I'm saying right click on the table name. If you just have the single click left click, it will open the rename option, but you have to right click on the table and select here the design option, right? Because you have to say you have to design the table once again. So click on design, it will open the same window what we were having previously, right? So in this table, now you are going to add one more column called age. This is also an integer data type, right? Because age is a number, right? So we can have this as an integer data type, right? We already have this table. I have added one more column here. Now same thing, right click and save student master. Now, right, it is saved. Now you can close this and you will see in the student master, now you will have one more column. Still it is not visible. So refresh the columns and you will see a new column is added here, right? So this is how you can add a new column to the existing table. Now same if I want to do using the query method, I have to write the alter command, right? Alter is the command used to modify the existing database object. So I'm using alter table, name of the table, student master, and I want to add column. So add what column name? I want to add age, which is of integer data type. So this is how we will write the query to add the new column to the existing database, right? So this is how we can use the alter command to add the new column. Same way, if you have to add the new column, you can click on the columns also here. Okay, this is the one method to design the table. Another method is on the columns, you can click on new column. So same window will open and you can add one more column here. So in that way as well, you can do that. If you have to remove the column, so you can do this as well, right? If you see here, I can simply right click on this age and I will see the multiple options here. Delete column, right? So if I delete the column will be deleted. Now you can just right click and save the student master, right? Close this, refresh the columns. You will see age is now disappeared, right? So this is how you can drop the column as well. So if I want to drop the column using query method, how I can do that? I have to use the alter table drop command. Drop table age, right? So drop not table, this is the column, drop column age. So this is how I can drop the column as well, right? Let's see how to change the data type. To change the data type, let's say for the city from the varchar 50, I want to change this to some other value. Like, so for that, again right click and click on design, same window will open. Now you can select any different data type here. So let's say I want this data type as an XML, so I can click on XML. Now the data type has been changed. I can again right click and save the student master, right? It is saying like it is not permitted, so you have made required following tables to be dropped. Okay, it is not allowing me to change the data type. So yeah, we can see if we can change with the two different data like varchar max, right? Earlier it was having varchar 50, now I have changed to varchar max. Still it is not allowing, so no worries. Okay, we can do this using query method as well, right? So to change the data type, we have to write the alter command again, alter table, and now I'm not adding or dropping the table, I'm altering the column as well. So within the table, I'm going to alter the column called city and I am going to write the new data type varchar max. So this is how we can use the alter command as well, right? This is what we have seen about create and alter. Same way, if you have to use the drop command, we can use the drop command as well. So to drop any database object, we use the drop command, right? So to drop the table, how you will write the query? Simply you will write drop table and you will give the name to the table, right? So this is how you will drop the table, but without writing the query, we can simply right click on the table name, right click on the table name and click on delete option here, right? So if you click on delete, it will ask you to whether you want to delete this object. Click on OK, yes, right? Now it is executing the query and it is now object, the table is already deleted here. So this is how we can delete the table as well, right? So this is how we can use multiple DDL commands using the graphical methods, right? we can drop even the database as well. So if you right click on the database name and click on delete, the newly created database will be again dropped. So all create, alter, drop commands we can use we can use through the object explorer using graphical method. Okay, let me show you one more thing. I will recreate the table using graphical method, or I already have the syntax. So what I will do is I will just create the table using query method. Okay, and I can again see this table is created here. Let's refresh this. Table is here. Oh, it is created under master database. See where I have executed the script. I have executed the scripts into the master database. Okay, so you have to choose the correct database here. To create any object, you have to focus on here, like in which database you are executing the script. So while executing any code, you need to see whether it is referencing to the correct database. I was about to create this table into the student DB database, but now it is created in the master DB because the reference was incorrect. So first you need to select the student DB correctly and then execute the code. Okay, so let's see, instead of creating the table using query, now I will create this using graphical method. Let's do it quickly. Student ID, which is of integer data type. Then we have the student name, which is of again varchar data type. Okay, and then we are having the city, which is also a varchar 50 data type. Okay, so I have created the table, save the table, give the name as a student master, right? And the table will be is already exist, it is saying. Okay, it is already exist, so let's give some other name, student master 1. Okay, so I have created a table called student master 1. Let me refresh it. It should create a new table, student master 1. Now you see I have created the table using graphical method. Let's say if I wanted to see the script of this table, the create script. So SQL will create a script for us, right? You have seen I have not created this table using query method. I have not written any query. So how to see the script? You have to right click on the table. It will give the option to script the table. So I can script this table to create a new query editor window, and SQL Server will generate the SQL query for us, which is a create table query. You can see it is having create table, name of the table, right? It is having schema name and it is the object name, that is table name. It is data type integer, sorry, column name, data type, column name, data type, column name and data type. You can see it is allowing the null. That means we can insert the null values as well into this column, right? So that is what for we have seen for the today's video. So today we learned how to use the DDL commands, create, alter, drop, all using the graphical interface in the SSMS, right? The key takeaway in that is that every graphical operation in SSMS translate to an underlying SQL script, right? So whenever we do any operation using graphical method, the underlying SQL script will be generated by the SQL server, right? So as a learner, this will help you to see what happens behind the scene, right? So if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my SQL 8 channel and for more practical SQL Server demos. In my next video, we will move to the DML commands, how to insert, update and delete the data into the tables. Right, as of now, we have just seen how to create a table, how to create the database. In the upcoming video sessions, we will move to the DML commands, that is next type of SQL commands in the SQL Server. Right, thanks for watching and keep learning with SQL Server. Also do comments on my video so that it will keeps me motivated to create a new videos and a new contents for all the learners. Thank you all.